Since 1964, drill sergeants have been responsible for training our Army's volunteer fighting force. Fort Jackson is home to the only drill sergeant academy in our Army and is responsible for providing drill sergeants to every training center across the initial military training enterprise. Since its inception, the purpose of the United States Army Drill Sergeant Program is to transform non-commissioned officers into drill sergeants who, in turn, have the responsibility to transform civilians into soldiers, our national treasure. The thousands of American young men and women who have volunteered to answer the call of our grateful nation. The job of the drill sergeant is one of a professional trainer, coach, mentor, and leader. This is not an easy or simple job, and it comes with sacrifices that each drill sergeant must make in order to perform this extremely important mission. Those who are graduating today will spend the next 2 to 3 years on the trail to train the next generation of our Army. The phrase "on the trail" comes from the frontier days when cattle were driven from California to Colorado to be marketed. The original drill sergeants coined the phrase because of the similar process of moving soldiers from one place to another with few problems or loss along the way. There is a continued effort to move drill sergeants to that high degree of excellence and expertise for which they are known. The drill sergeant course is both stressful and challenging. The 9 weeks of training are broken down into 12-hour days, adding up to 446 hours of instruction. This training is a privilege reserved for the best of the best. Only the top 10% of all sergeants Army-wide are eligible to attend the drill sergeant course. Not all sergeants complete this difficult period of training. On 17 September 2025, 114 candidates arrived. During the course, 60 sergeants were removed for various reasons, with 31 being inserted, resulting in the 84 that are graduating here today. Those graduating represent disciplined, motivated, physically fit drill sergeants who exemplify the drill sergeant creed. All 84 drill sergeants truly are the proud example of our Army and will undoubtedly transform the next generation of civilian volunteers into soldiers that are fully capable of defeating enemy on today's modern battlefield. Ladies and gentlemen, identified by their distinctive headgear and pistol belt are the drill sergeant leaders responsible for having trained and mentored today's graduating class. Drill sergeant leaders instruct the course in small groups of 20 candidates on average. They are highly motivated, professional, and seasoned drill sergeants who have a minimum of 1 year experience in the initial entry training environment from any of the 4 training centers and advanced individual training locations. They were hand-selected to serve as drill sergeant leaders as a result of demonstrating expert leadership, mastery of warrior tasks and battle drills, and consistently performing at the top 1% of their peers. In addition, all have completed the TRADOC Drill Sergeant Leader Certification Program. Please join me in a round of applause for their hard work and dedication. Ladies and gentlemen, the Commandant of the United States Army Drill Sergeant Academy, Command Sergeant Major Joshua R. Vital.
Here we go! All right, we're going to pump up the energy a little bit in this. It's one of our hallmarks. So I need you to reciprocate. Good morning.
Good morning.
No. We do it right or we do it again. All right, so in this case, good morning. Good morning. All right, now we can train. Good morning, Command Sergeant Major Jolkin. Distinguished guests, families and friends. Hey, what a large crowd today. We're excited to have this many people come out and support these great drill sergeants as they get ready to endeavor the most challenging duty of their military career thus far. It's going to take you to support them through it for sure. Thank you for joining us today for the Drill Sergeant Academy graduation ceremony for class 02325. From the tents today, it is clear these drill sergeants have amazing families and friends supporting them. What a great day to be a soldier. Even better day to be here, surrounded by the future of the United States Army, represented by the Army's newest drill sergeants. The fact that the United States Army Drill Sergeant Academy is the gold standard for NCO development and cadre certification is clearly on display today. My name is Command Sergeant Major Josh Beidel. I am the Commandant, proudly serving alongside the most highly motivated and well-trained drill sergeants in the United States Army. A drill sergeant is the standard bearer for the United States Army and the very epitome of what we expect of a soldier. Drill sergeants are expected to live the Army values, exemplify the warrior ethos, and be guardians of the Army profession. Drill sergeants are responsible for coaching, teaching, motivating, inspiring, and mentoring the future of the Army as they transform civilians to combat-ready American soldiers. A typical day as a drill sergeant starts well before dawn, ends after sundown. Drill sergeants are the first impression for every trainee and all that they know of the Army. Drill sergeants, they will emulate you. They will want to be you. Just as you remember your drill sergeant, Command Sergeant Major retired Roderick McCottrell, Sergeant First Class retired Ronnie Bush, if anybody's interested in who mine were 29 plus years ago, you will remember yours and they will remember you. Being drill sergeant is one of the most difficult jobs in our Army. It is also one of the most rewarding. How critical a drill sergeant is to our Army cannot be overstated, nor can the sacred trust that is being bestowed on you today. American families across this great land are going to entrust you with their prized possession, their children. The future of America is being placed in your care for the most formative times in their Army careers. Your impact will last a lifetime. Just as you remember your drill sergeants, so will your trainees. Will you be remembered how you invest in them, believed in them when they didn't believe in themselves, always enforced the standard, and challenged them to keep going? Or will you be remembered for something else? Class 02325, congratulations on accomplishing this daunting challenge. You met or exceeded every standard. You surmounted every obstacle. But the challenge is just beginning. Enjoy the time between now and when you report. Take the time to reflect on the challenge that lies ahead of you and what you hope to achieve. There will be times when you are tired, hot, cold, hungry, and more. Look to your battle buddies during those times and spur one another along. Your experience as a drill sergeant will be directly impacted by the battle buddies you have and are. The task is great. You are charged with nothing less than training tomorrow's leaders. The Army, the country, and the Constitution depend on you. Today's guest speaker, Command Sergeant Major Daniel Joka. Command Sergeant Major Joka leads the 2nd Battalion, 13 Infantry right here on Fort Jackson, making American soldiers. He graduated Infantry OSA 2003. The long list of assignments in numerous organizations demonstrate his exceptional performance, character, and stewardship of the profession. Please join me in welcoming Dan Joka.
It's going to be a little hard to match the energy of the commandant, but I'm going to give it a shot. Good morning, distinguished guests, cadre, families, and most importantly, the graduating class of 02325. It's an honor to stand here today in front of you as a Battalion Command Sergeant Major, but before any of the badges, positions, or titles, I was seated in the same place that you are right now. Maybe a different building and location, just not too far down the street. But just as excited and a little bit nervous about what you are also about to become, a drill sergeant. And like many of you, I remember the moment I put on that hat for the very first time. It felt heavy, not because of the material, but because of the responsibility that came with it. That weight never truly goes away. And it shouldn't. It represents trust. Trust from the Army and trust from the American people. My own time as a drill sergeant and infantry OSIT in good old Sand Hill at Fort Benning, Georgia, was definitely one of the most challenging, exhausting, and rewarding experiences in my career. There were long nights, early mornings, and moments when I wondered if the trainees were learning anything at all. But then there were the breakthroughs. The moment a soldier who couldn't pass a single event on the APFT suddenly scored their first time go. The soldier who arrived without any confidence and graduated with pride. The one who returned years later to say, "Drill Sergeant, thank you." Please, don't you ever forget about the impact you're about to have in these soldiers and in the Army. I want to share a little story with you about me 3 years after my time in the trail. Laying in bed, dead asleep, at 03 on a Saturday morning, receiving a phone call from a random unknown number. Picking it up and hearing the voice on the other side of the phone saying, "Drill Sergeant," immediately catching my attention and wonder who will dare to call their drill sergeant at 03 in the morning. Drill Sergeant, this is Sergeant McIntosh. I was one of your PGs in Sand Hill, platoon guys. Do you remember me? Me immediately and a bit upset, yes, I do remember you. But why are you calling me at 03 in the morning on a Saturday? Drill Sergeant, I am laying in a hospital bed in Landstuhl, Germany, and I just got blown up 3 days ago. Unfortunately, I lost one of my legs, but I survived. I wanted to say thank you, because after the IED went off, and I was laying on the ground, I remember what you taught me in basic training. How you motivated us, and I used that to crawl to safety, and I wanted to say thank you. Sergeant McIntosh went on to become a 3-sport Paralympic athlete for the United States Army and won many competitions. We're still in touch, and he taught me a life lesson on that night or that morning about the impact that I had on soldiers during my time as a drill sergeant. So please take this future mission that the Army has trusted you with very, very serious. Those moments taught me that what real leadership is. It's not perfection, it's not consistency. It's not perfection, it is consistency. It is presence. It is the understanding that every interaction matters because you never know which moment becomes the one they will remember 10 years down the road. Leadership as a drill sergeant means being the model when you're tired, when you're frustrated, when no one is watching, and especially when everyone is watching. If your hands starting today rests the future of our Army. The soldiers you will train in our formations, they're the future squad leaders, team leaders, drill sergeants, first sergeants, sergeants majors, and command sergeant majors. Some of them will carry our nation's flag into places we cannot yet imagine. Some will serve lives on a battlefield. Some will change the culture of their units for a better. And all of them will remember their drill sergeants. You will shape not just their skills, but their mindset. You will influence whether they believe in themselves, whether they trust their leaders, and whether they choose to stay in this profession. What you do in those 9 weeks will echo throughout the Army for years. As you prepare to step into the trail, I'll leave you with this message. I learned the hard way. Your example becomes their standard. The way you speak becomes the way they speak. The pride you show becomes the pride they carry. And the discipline you enforce becomes the discipline they expect of themselves. So wear the hat with humility. Train with purpose. Lead with character. And remember that every single soldier is someone's sons or daughters. Someone who has trusted us to turn them into professional disciplined, lethal members of our United States Army. Graduates, you are ready. You have earned this moment. Now go out there and build soldiers, one formation, one lesson, one moment at a time. Congratulations, drill sergeants. The Army needs you, and more importantly, the future soldiers of our Army need you. Thank you.
Drill and ceremony is the basis for standards and discipline in the initial entry training environment. During the course, the drill sergeant candidates are instructed and assessed on their ability to perform and teach drill and ceremony positions and movements, culminating with a drill and ceremony competition. The squad that displayed the highest level of proficiency is awarded the drill and ceremony trophy to be displayed until the following cycle. For class 02325, the drill and ceremony competition winner is 2nd Platoon, 2nd Squad, who is led by Drill Sergeant Jeremiah Hyona. Please join me in a round of applause for the winning squad of the drill and ceremony competition. At the Drill Sergeant Academy, it is tradition to appropriately recognize those who distinguish themselves by their outstanding performance. In keeping with this tradition, the following awards are presented. The Drill Sergeant Leader of the Cycle is the Drill Sergeant Leader who displayed the highest contribution to the entire platoon, created an impeccable learning environment, and displayed a standard for all graduating drill sergeants to follow. For class 02325, the Drill Sergeant Leader of the Cycle is Drill Sergeant Leader Peter Samotis. At this time, 1st Command will present the Drill Sergeant Leader of the Cycle with a gift for their outstanding leadership. At this time, the Commandant of the United States Army Drill Sergeant Academy, Command Sergeant Major Joshua R. Beidel, will present the Drill Sergeant Leader of the Cycle with the Commandant's coin for their outstanding leadership. Please join me in a round of applause for the Drill Sergeant Leader of the Cycle. Senior Drill Sergeant Leader Corey Smith will now present the graduating class with their distinctive headgear. Please hold your applause and cheering until the awardees have been acknowledged. The following drill sergeant exceeded course standards, demonstrated exceptional physical fitness, and maintained the highest grade point average of his graduating class. For these achievements, he is the Distinguished Honor Graduate. Drill Sergeant Luis Irizarry, Fort Benning, Georgia. The Leadership Award is presented to the candidate who displayed the highest degree of professionalism and demonstrated sound judgment while performing in leadership positions. The Leadership Award recipient and member of the Commandant's List is Drill Sergeant Rodrigo Flores, Fort Sam Houston, Texas. The Iron Drill Sergeant Award is given to the candidate who displayed the highest degree of physical fitness during the Iron Drill Sergeant Fitness Test. The Iron Drill Sergeant Award recipient is Drill Sergeant Vincent Bozzi, Fort Huachuca, Arizona, with a perfect score of 500 out of 500. Each awardee will receive a token for exceeding the standards while in the course. At this time, the Sergeant Audie Murphy Club will present the awardees with a gift for their outstanding performance. Please join me in a round of applause for the awardees. The following drill sergeants exceeded course standards, demonstrated exceptional physical fitness, and maintained a grade point average in the top 20% of their graduating class. For these achievements, they are rightfully placed on the Commandant's list. Drill Sergeant Eric Johnston, Fort Sam Houston, Texas. Drill Sergeant Michael Oxendine, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Drill Sergeant Garrett Robertson, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Please join me in a round of applause for the Commandant's list. Ladies and gentlemen, the following drill sergeants are the graduates of Class 02325. Please hold your applause and cheering until the last drill sergeant is acknowledged.
Drill Sergeant Roman Alisea, Fort Lee, Virginia. Drill Sergeant Gregory Andrew, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Galia Arana, Fort Sam Houston, Texas.
Drill Sergeant Deandra Bailey, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Chandler Bay, Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Drill Sergeant Alejandro Manuelos, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Drill Sergeant Richard Hart, Fort Benning, Georgia. Drill Sergeant Miguel Bullen, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Drill Sergeant Ruben Calderon, Fort Sam Houston, Texas.
Drill Sergeant Jasmine Carter, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Christopher Cashaw, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Drill Sergeant Benjamin Castro, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Daniela Cedillo, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Drill Sergeant Jordan Chamberlain, 108
Drill Sergeant Trevor Gibbs, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Drill Sergeant Jonathan Gonzalez, Fort Benning, Georgia. Drill Sergeant Jose Guadarrama, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
Drill Sergeant Magdalena Hayes, Fort Gordon, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Rude Hernandez, 108th Training Command. Drill Sergeant Jeremy Holloway, Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Drill Sergeant Christian Howe, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Jeremiah Hayona, Fort Sam Houston, Texas.
Drill Sergeant Jeff Johnson, 108th Training Command.
Drill Sergeant Robert Johnson, Fort Benning, Georgia. Drill Sergeant Ryan Johnson, Fort Sam Houston, Texas.
Drill Sergeant Andrew Hint, Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
Drill Sergeant William Kirby, Goodfellow Air Force Base, Texas.
Drill Sergeant Noah Hitt, Fort Benning, Georgia. Drill Sergeant Timothy Koschel, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Drill Sergeant Franklin Lalone, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
Drill Sergeant David Lamb, 108th Training Command. Drill Sergeant John McCann, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
Drill Sergeant Nathaniel McCord, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Miguel McCullough, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Joseph Meehan, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Gianni Valderejo, Fort Sam Houston, Texas.
Drill Sergeant Joseph Mercer, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Landry Malcolm, 108 Training Command. Drill Sergeant Devontae McDaniel, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Jaden Kavinska, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Camille Price, Fort Littlewood, Missouri.
Drill Sergeant Rick Prosser, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Kayla Quintana, Fort Leonardwood, Missouri.
Drill Sergeant Johan Quesada, Fort Sale, Oklahoma.
Drill Sergeant David Ransom, 108 Training Command. Drill Sergeant DeQuinn Redden, Fort Lee, Virginia.
Drill Sergeant Portia Richards, Fort Lee, Virginia.
Drill Sergeant Gerald Roberts, 108 Training Command.
Drill Sergeant Genazio Robson, 108 Training Command.
Drill Sergeant Axel Rodriguez, Raw Leonard Reserve.
Drill Sergeant Michael Frost, Fort Leonard, Missouri. Drill Sergeant Bob Ruel, Fort Sioux, Oklahoma.
Drill Sergeant Deshaun Schubert, Fort Sam Houston, Texas.
Drill Sergeant George Smith, Fort Sam Houston, Texas. Drill Sergeant Lawrence Smith, Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Drill Sergeant Luis Sosa,
Drill Sergeant Travis Sullivan, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Shotney Taylor, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Joshua Taylor, Fort Lee, Virginia.
Drill Sergeant Nikolaj Thibodeau, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Montana Tomlin, Fort Littlewood, Missouri.
Drill Sergeant Lisette Ugalden, Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
Drill Sergeant Kevin Bagley, Bethany Beach Training Site, Delaware. Drill Sergeant Thomas Wells, Fort Leonardwood, Missouri.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a round of applause for the Army's newest drill sergeant.
You go, Jim. Let's go, Jersey. Christ.
At this time, leadership awardee, Drill Sergeant Rodrigo Flores, will present a token of appreciation to the guest speaker, Command Sergeant Major Daniel Julka.
Sergeant Majors, on behalf of Class 023-25, please accept this token for your kind words of wisdom.
You have become what you set out to be, a drill sergeant in the United States Army. The Drill Sergeant Creed is your declaration of your unshakable commitment to the ideals this nation was founded upon and continue to guarantee. At this time, drill sergeants, past and present, please stand as the drill sergeant leader of the cycle, Drill Sergeant Leader Peter Samotis, leads the graduating class in reciting the Drill Sergeant Creed. The Drill Sergeant Creed is not a creed for every non-commissioned officer in the Army. The honor and privilege is given to these non-commissioned officers to transform America's sons and daughters from civilians to soldiers to fight and win the wars of this great nation.
This will defend.
I'm a drill sergeant.
I will still pride in all I train, pride itself in
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of the Army song and remain standing for the departure of the official party.